Good morning. Here we are down at the allotment shed at the allotment, and it's so wet outside that I thought I will make some of my wicking pots. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. So I'm making wicking pots that I will use in my greenhouse as pots to grow my tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, lettuces, anything that I want to grow in the greenhouse. I will use these wicking pots mainly so if I go away for a few days in the caravan, I won't have to worry about watering my plants. So that's what we're doing today, making wicking pots. Let's get started. The wicking pots are going to be made by having this bucket that I bought from B&Q for £1 as the pot, and this, like I said, will be used for growing tomatoes, peppers, that sort of thing in the greenhouse. Because they're going in the greenhouse, I'm not going to change this bucket at all. I'm not putting drain holes in it, I'm just leaving it as it is. That's the first part. That's the pot, which is a bucket. I'm then going to make some water reservoirs, and this is what it looks like. It's an ice cream container, 2 litre ice cream container. There's no bottom in it. I've put holes around the side and in the top, and also there's some grooves in the bottom to allow the water to quickly exit this container into the compost. I'm then taking a water bottle and placing it in the reservoir to be able to fill it up. Again, because this is only going in the greenhouse and not outside, I will not put drain holes in the bucket, and then that will go inside. Once inside, I will pack down compost around the outside, I'll show you later, and then make up with fresh compost ready for planting. So let's first of all make the reservoir. Right, to make the actual reservoir, I've saved these ice cream containers, and where these are Wool's ones, they've got a little lip that you take off to be able to remove the lid. The first thing I'm going to do is to cut the rest of that lip out on each side. I'm then going to drill holes all the way around the side and partly in the top of the ice cream container to allow air to move around when I'm filling up with water, and also to allow the water to seep out of this container into the compost. So this is the first task. So what tools will I use? Well, I have a pair of scissors to cut some membrane, fabric membrane, and I have a drill for drilling holes in the ice cream container. I've got a larger drill bit for drilling the hole to place the water bottle in so I can fill it up with water, and finally a water bottle, empty water bottle. A little bit of duct tape to stick the membrane fabric to the ice cream container. So the first job is to trim off this little bit of thin plastic to give me a hole so that when this sits on the bottom of the bucket, the water can run out each side of this container. So to do that, I just started by using the scissors to cut. The same on this side. So just using a pair of pliers, I will twist that plastic off. just twist the plastic off. So now I've got two gaps at the bottom of the ice cream container for water to come out of there into the compost. The next job is to drill holes around this ice cream container, and I'll put a few holes in the top. And all I do for that is, using this drill, I'll just go around Now I did find when I was doing this I could actually put two ice cream containers together and do two at a time. When I drilled the top holes I was able to drill through four and do four at a time. So the top ones mainly are just to allow air to escape the container as you're filling it up. We don't want any air trapped in the bottom of here, otherwise it will just start to float up. So that's important. So that container is now ready, and I just need to wrap it up in this fabric. Now if you look here, these are 29 I did earlier, so they're all at that stage. Take a piece of this membrane, it's the fabric type, and just place it on top, because obviously you want the fabric to stop the compost going into the container or the reservoir. So it hasn't got to cover it completely, but I will cover it if I can. So put the fabric on the top, take a little bit of gaffer tape, and then just support that onto the container like so. Then cut off sufficient to cover this. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit all the way, as long as it covers any holes. And then fold that over. And then just lift up, and I'll stick that as well. Right, so there's the membrane, fabric membrane, covering the ice cream container. One thing I just forgot to do is to drill the large hole for the bottle. So when I did those, all these, I actually put this bit on my electric drill and did it, but I'll just do this here, and then I should have done that. That's right. That's it. Now you most probably have to make the hole a little bit bigger to put the bottle top in. Now I've got some bottles here. They've got the little lip on. So I take that off, then that will now fit if I push it in there. So that now fits nicely in there. The only thing I've got to do now is to cut the top off. So let's take that out. So I'll just start this off. Then it's easier to just run the scissors around the top. If you find that your bottle isn't big enough to get to the top of the bucket, you can always just take another bottle and slide it inside, so it actually makes it deeper. So let's put that back in there. So that's now stage one. That's the reservoirs made for the wicking buckets or pots, and I'll just take the bucket as it is, no holes in it, and place that in the bottom. Now I'm placing it so that the lip of the bucket, that's where the watering container will be, and the next stage is to fill that up, pack down inside there with compost to act as the wicking mechanism. So to do that, we'll go into the greenhouse. For this stage, I'm going to use some old compost, used compost, that I had in my raised bed, which is stored here. Now this is old compost, it doesn't matter, because this is just going to be used for the wicking process. So I'll tip that in and push it all the way round and down the sides of the ice cream container. And you can do it you need to do it quite firmly. Right, that's quite firm. I'm just going to put another ½ an inch on the top, so then the whole bottom acts as a wick. So there's about ½ an inch on the bottom, above the actual water reservoir. So I'll just pat that down nicely. That's it. Now the next stage is to add another piece of the fabric membrane, and that is to stop or to discourage the roots from going and sitting in the waterlogged compost at the bottom. So I'm now going to put another piece of membrane in there. Well, I've taken a piece of membrane and I've just made a slit in it to go around the bottom of the bottle. I'm just going to place this down inside. It doesn't matter if it comes up the sides. And just place that round. And just to support it for a moment, I'm just going to put a little bit of compost in there just to hold it in place. And the next stage now is to fill this up. Now the thing with this is there's no drainage holes, there is no level where obviously the water can run off, it can't. But because they're in the greenhouse, I'm not worried about overfilling it, because I won't. So what I need to do now is to fill that up. So I'll just now that should fill up the container. And obviously it then should soak out into the compost. The compost then will wick up the moisture, and then this should become nice and moist. So really, to make this bucket, there's a few pence for the membrane, £1 for the bucket, and some used ice cream containers, so it can be done very cheaply. Obviously if you wanted to spend money, you could make them a lot more elaborate. So they're ready now to add your actual proper compost, ready for planting. Okay, I'm going to make up some compost now, mixture to go into the top of these buckets. And what I've got is some John-Innes potting compost. I've also got multi-purpose John-Innes compost, some perlite, and some Grow Sure slow release food, plant food. So I'm just going to mix that up in the bucket and add it to these two wicking beds, or wicking pots. I'll just put in some slow release fertilizer or food. That's the mixture. And now I'll just fill up these two wicking pots. A little bit more on the top. That's it. So that's those two wicking pots ready. Ready for planting up. I won't push the compost down. I'll just leave it lightly added to the top of the reservoir. And that's those two ready. Hope you found this little video useful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again on my next little task. Bye for now.